Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting the Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Friday as you are listening to the show today. We have made it through another week, although I'm saying that a little prematurely because I am on the Zoom screen today on a Wednesday afternoon with Kristen Laise. She is the executive director at Belle Grove. So, Kristen, we're hoping everybody got through the week, but you and I are still stuck in the middle of hump day as we're recording today.
Yep, we are. Thanks for having me.
So how are things at Belle Grove? I know we were going to record earlier today, but we were waiting for the governor to make his announcement, which ended up being more about vaccination or vaccine distribution. How are you guys doing over at Belle Grove?
We're doing okay. We were managed to open in mid-June for tours and had, a staggered open, stayed closed on Mondays so we would do cleaning, and that was through October. And then our typical schedule in November is just to be open on weekends anyway. So we sort of lightened the load a little there. We did see good visitation. It was a little slow at first, but by September and October, we were getting close to where we would have been last year. And we just implemented some additional protocols. So keeping our manor house tour to 10 people. Of course, the grounds are always open and free for people to come and tour on their own, and we have brochures out. We have great picnic table spots. It's getting a little chilly, but we had a really wonderful fall. That beautiful weather just lasted and lasted. So it was great to see our property being used. And then we have our new Welcome Center. And so we have the museum shop in there. We have a wonderful exhibit in there, the Shenandoah Valley Tapestry, which if you haven't seen that project or heard about that project, you can, again, free of charge, you can come in and see those exhibits. There are things to do. And so we've been managing to serve the public, and that's been great.
It's been tough for a lot of the nonprofits that I've spoken to because a lot of their fundraisers, a lot of the ways that they make money throughout the spring, the summer, and even into the fall had to be canceled or rescheduled for next year. I know that I missed out on several events that I come to every year that are held out Belle Grove for other organizations. That had to have been a bummer and kind of put a little pinch in your pocketbook, I would imagine.
Absolutely. So about 30% of our budget every year is just from event rentals and special events like our Beer Fest and our Wine Fest. Of course, heartbreaking to have to cancel them, but also, yes, very difficult for us financially. A couple of grant programs, a couple of the relief programs from the CARES Act have come to the rescue and taken care of maybe the deepest pinch there. But, it's going to be really important for us next year. And we have a full roster of events we'd really like to have take place. So it's concerning. And of course, we want everyone to be safe. That's the number one priority. We want our community to be safe and our personnel to be safe. But as soon as we all can get healthy, we're really looking forward to being back.
Well, and I've had several people talk to me. They have this misconception that because Belle Grove and Cedar Creek is a federal there's the park, there's like the national park, but then there's Belle Grove Plantation. You guys aren't just sitting there flush with federal funding. I mean, you're not in the clear in this pandemic because you're separate entities. Can you explain how that works?
Sure. Yeah. So Belle Grove is we are in the legislation when the park was formed. We and several other nonprofit organizations are named in the legislation, but we're partners. We're nonprofit partners. So the federal government does have an office. They do have a visitor center with the rangers, typical park rangers, but that's where the federal funding basically ends. If we work with the federal government or with the national park on a particular project, and we'll partner together on a project, they will often take care of the funding needed for that project, say a new trail or a joint interpretive project or special lecture series or something to that effect. But correct, Belle Grove receives no regular government funding from the federal level, from the state level, or from even the local municipal level. I will say we did benefit from some of the Frederick County and Commonwealth of Virginia funding that came through the CARES Act, and we're extremely grateful for that. But yes, so Belle Grove is self-supporting. We are responsible for every dollar we raise to pay the light bills, pay our small staff. That's why we're so grateful and so reliant on our wonderful volunteers. So we do appreciate the community support, whether they come out and come to an event that's fun, or if they're willing to make a donation. We've been here over 50 years, and we want to be here for many hundreds of years more as just a wonderful community resource and spot.
Because we're coming up on the end of the year, that's always a big deal for a lot of nonprofits, because people can still deduct the donations and stuff from their taxes, and they're trying to get that last minute tax break in at the last minute. But this week also featured Giving Tuesday. But I don't think people also realize that while that was a big day centered around giving back to local nonprofits in your area, that doesn't mean that on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or next week, people can't still give.
Right. Exactly. It's just like Cyber Monday. Just because Cyber Monday is when the sales is, it doesn't mean you won't be shopping online at other times during the month. That's absolutely right. Yeah. So your big deadline is at the end of the month with the tax deadline. At Belle Grove's website, so bellegrove.org, under our sponsorship tab, we have a donate page. And actually I put up some of the guidelines, because it was changed. That was one of the first things that rolled out this spring. Was the federal government did make some changes in the tax code for people who itemize deductions or make contributions out of their IRA, just to make it a little easier for people who have the means to just help support nonprofit organizations. Because so many of us, especially those working in relief and housing and food and other things, so desperately need help right now. So Belle Grove is we're running a can drive for Blue Ridge Area Food Bank. So if you're coming out to visit anyway, you want to drop off some canned goods, or we want to make a donation while you're here, we wanted to also give back that way.
And I think one of the easiest ways that people can give back to Belle Grove is by becoming a member. I mean, you have different membership levels that also give me some perks, because I can get admission to some events at a discount or for free.
Yep. If you're going to come out and visit us for the holidays, it's a great time to get a membership. You get 10% off all the non-consignment items in the shop right away. So if you can do some shopping, you can sign up and get your benefit right that day. So December is a super time to join as a member.
And I always forget, and I'm so glad that you always do the show with me enough that you are here to remind me. I always forget about the gift shop, but it has some of the coolest things ever in it for people to be able to buy as gifts or for yourselves.
That's right. Yeah, no, we're really trying to partner with local artisans and other producers. And so we have a lot of those, but we also have a lot of just cute and interesting ornaments this year. We've got a great selection of those. Great place to pick up something. And if you've come to Belle Grove in the past and you've had our spiced tea mix, we've got that for sale too. So
and that stuff is amazing. I highly recommend that, by the way. So anybody who's listening, go get some.
Yeah. They keep you warm all winter, keep you healthy all winter.
And you guys are open now. I mean, we were talking about how you've been open for tours, but have you decorated? I assume it's December. You've already decorated for the holidays.
We are in process this week. This is the big week of decorating. We are open Monday through Thursday from 10 to 4, Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 8 p.m., and Sundays from 1 to 5. So we do guided tours during the daylight hours, basically. So 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday, and 1 to 5 on Sunday. And then at 4 to 8, it's self-guided. So you can come out and just tour at your leisure in the Manor House. Same admission for all of the tours, $12 for adults. We have a variety of different discounts, and kids and others are free. But that's if you're coming out with a family, getting a family membership might be a great way to go. We do have limits on the guided tours. So we are limiting those to 10 people. And that's just first come, first serve. We're not doing advanced registration or or any online ticketing for that. But if you're thinking of coming out and just self-guiding, you may want to choose coming on a little bit on the early side. I think truthfully, it's a really beautiful time of day in the winter time at Belle Grove is that 4 to 6 time frame. The sun is setting. We've our candlelight in the windows, and it can be a nice time, a little less crowded time to come in and take a tour around and do some shopping.
And you guys have like placards and things like that. So if somebody is doing a self-guided tour, it's not like they're just wandering around and have no real idea of what it is they're looking at or they're seeing. They can get the gist of it if they're doing it themselves.
We always have docents on duty in the house to talk with you and answer questions. It just won't be going room to room necessarily. And then of course, we always have brochures and it tells you what you're seeing and who decorated each room.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, can we talk a little bit about the decorations? Because I know they're period appropriate. And then you've also got the Kris Kringle Outdoor Market that's happening this weekend. Can you give me some details for that?
Yes.
We'll do all of that when we come back in just a couple of minutes. We are chatting with Kristen Laise. She is the executive director at Belle Grove Plantation. They, of course, are located just off of Route 11 here in Middletown. I say here because I'm at home today in my kitchen in Middletown. We're going to learn more about the Kris Kringle Outdoor Market as well as the holiday tours happening at Belle Grove when we come back.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Friday as you are listening to the show today. We, however, have pre-recorded our conversation on the Zoom screen on a Wednesday afternoon. We are chatting today with Kristen Laise. She is the executive director at Belle Grove. I've been joking all week that it's Christmas week on the Valley today. Shenandoah County kicked it off with the Christmas in the Valley tour that you can take at Shenandoah County Fairgrounds. Tom Eshelman was here for Tourism Tuesday on Tuesday, and we're wrapping it up today with Kristen because you guys are in the process, you said in the first segment, Kristen, of decorating right now for the holidays. What goes into decorating a house, a plantation, the likes of Belle Grove?
It takes a little help from your friends and then some. So we are so fortunate. We've had a long-standing relationship with our area garden clubs who help us so much just make this possible. But we start off Monday with our staff and volunteers heading out to get the 12-foot Christmas tree, and hopefully not a bit more because the ceilings are 13 feet 9 inches. And there was the year they put a tiny hole in the ceiling. So never to happen again. But that's in place. So that is all in place. And then the different clubs, they stagger throughout the week. And this year even more so important than ever to keep social distance. So they've been coming in and room by room. It's getting beautified and it's wonderful. It's always exciting to see the creativity, smell the fresh greens in the house, and it's a lot of fun.
And that's interesting too, because it's not the same decorations every year because you have these different groups coming in. They all put their own individual spin on it. So while some of the decorations themselves may be the same, the way that they're displayed is different. So it's a new experience for people every year.
Yeah. And so they're live decorations. They'll mix in different things depending on what the theme is. And then they'll take turns even within a garden club. Different people will be on the committee. So you get a fresh take on things. And yeah, every year I just think, oh, it can't be more beautiful or it can't be more creative. And every year they surpass the year before.
Do you guys determine the theme at Belle Grove, or do all of the clubs get together and draw a theme out of a hat?
Well, we determine it, and sometimes we'll relate it to something that's going on at Belle Grove. Like last year when we had debuted our Welcome Center in the barn, we decided to do a theme around animals, which also tied in with some other themes we had. This year, we're having the Shenandoah Valley Tapestry, which is this amazing embroidery artwork. And it's been on display at Belle Grove this fall, and it'll be here until the end of December. So we use that as a spark for what we're calling a homespun holiday. So highlighting crafts and traditional things like needlework. So that's how we came up with our theme for this year, is to highlight that. And so you can see that in the Welcome Center, free of charge. And we have a wonderful new part of that project. They took one of the other historic buildings on the property, and they have made a stitching station. So if you want to make a stitch into that unique piece, you can go in there and do that. So
now that's cool.
It is, yeah.
Tell me about the Kris Kringle Outdoor Market, because that sounds exciting because A, it's shopping, B, it's outside, and C, it's at Belle Grove.
Right. So so this is like our big pivot. It was pretty clear by the end of October that having indoor social events where people would be unmasked and eating and drinking would be a bad decision. And so unfortunately, we had to cancel out a lot of our social events, basically all our indoor social events. However, I had two of our great staff members had been mulling, no pun intended, on an idea, that Belle Grove would be great for a Christmas market. And truthfully, the only challenge that we had before us on that was we're already doing so much. Well, of course, now our schedule just freed up. So I just said, go for it. Let's just go for it and give this a try, see how people like it. And it's a perfect chance. The other thing is we knew from canceling our festivals that a lot of the vendors that we would have used, local businesses that come out and do these sorts of things, really have been hurting. And this was another way where we could help them kind of get themselves out there and sell some things for the holidays. So we have over 20 vendors. If you go to our website at bellegrove.org, you're going to see a brightly colored button right on the homepage. You can click on that and see the list of all the vendors. We've got a great variety for food, like chocolates and fudge and spice nuts, to ornaments and table runners and jewelry and scarves. And I think we're supposed to have some alpacas coming with some alpaca products, baskets. And North Mountain Vineyard will be there. They have a holiday wine. They'll have a little of that warm, just if you need a taste. But Belle Grove will have the hot spice cider, complimentary. And then Schaefer's barbecue truck will be there on Saturday, and they're going to have some hot cider for sale and soup. So there'll be lots of things to keep you cozy. The vendors will be all spread out, so there'll be ample room to social distance. We'll have a few that will be in the upper level of the Welcome Center, and we are in restrictions on how many people we can have in the building at a time, but be patient and we'll get you in. And we even going to have a blacksmith working in the forge. He'll have some items for sale. So you can take a manor house tour if you would like. They'll be on the regular schedule at the regular admission, but otherwise there's no fee to attend the market. You can come out and see. We ask that you park in the field. We'll save the front lot for handicapped only. Come out and get some shopping done. Help out our local businesses.
And I love that so much of what you mentioned that from a vendor perspective that's going to be there are handmade items and locally made items, because I think that's what really sets gift giving apart to friends and family during this season. Is you're not getting them something using that buy it now button on Amazon. You're putting some thought into it, and you're supporting somebody who probably has kids that go to school when they're having school with your kids, and that you see at the grocery store. And that's the key to keeping the community thriving in the middle of this pandemic.
I agree. Absolutely. I think we're all a little, we know we shouldn't go out and do a lot of Christmas shopping like the way we have, but you're right. We want that unique gift and that special something. So I think this is going to be a great time to get it.
As people are listening to the show today on Friday afternoon, it opens tomorrow on Saturday the 5th. What are the hours for this weekend? So
it's 10 to 4 on Saturday and 1 to 5 on Sunday. Just our normal operating hours. We also are going to have Santa mulling around, and he's going to be doing some socially distant reading of Christmas stories. So if you want to bring the kids, that's going on. That schedule's also on the website. And again, you mentioned for some of the vendors that are going to be in the visitors in the Welcome Center, anything indoors
you're going to have to wear a mask. You're going to have to follow all of the CDC guidelines because you're required to make people do that when they come visit your place.
Yes. And actually, we're asking if everyone could wear a mask just while they're on the property, unless they're eating and drinking, because even interacting with the vendors, we want to keep them safe. And, you might be in line or close to somebody else. We're all not perfect about the 6 feet. I'm first one to admit it. So I think if you could come prepared to wear your mask, and hey, at least now it's chilly out. At least wearing a mask has an additional purpose, keeping a little warm. It was a little hard to sell in July, but
yeah, it's a whole lot easier now that the temperature's in the 40s and we're in December.
Exactly.
Where can people get more information about everything that we've talked about, from making a donation to becoming a member to details for the outdoor market?
So I would just go to our website, which is bellegrove.org. So bellegrove.org. Right on that homepage, you'll see a big button that says Kris Kringle Outdoor Market, but you'll see in our calendar our tours. You can click on any of those links. And then right above even the Kris Kringle Outdoor Market, there's a button for support. And hopefully you'll find everything you need. But you'll also find our phone number if you have another question we can help you with.
And you do the holiday tours. Do you do them even after Christmas? Do you do them that week between Christmas and New Year's?
Yes, we do them the 26th through the 30th. We're closed Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I will say, this health situation is constantly evolving. So before you get your heart set on something, you might want to check our website, give us a call, make sure everything is the same schedule as I'm telling you about today. We really hope it will be. We really hope it will be, but we've got to keep everybody safe.
Awesome. Well, Kristen, thank you for meeting me on the Zoom screen today. I do appreciate it, and I am sure that you will see me this weekend.
Wonderful. Glad to have you, and we welcome everyone to come out. Thanks so much for having me.
Hopefully, I will see you this weekend at Belle Grove as well. Of course, I'll have the orange mask on, so I should be relatively easy to spot even from 6 feet away. But I will put links to everything that Kristen told us about today up on the podcast page, so you can go there. But it's pretty easy to remember. Just go to bellegrove.org, and remember, Belle has an E on the end of it. I will be back on Monday. I will have a brand new episode of The Valley Today ready to go for you. I believe it is, and don't get upset with me when you hear me say it, it is the VDOT Snow Show. So we're going to talk about VDOT and their plans for when this, the white stuff starts falling from the sky. So meet me back here on Monday, a few minutes after noon, and I will have that conversation ready to go for you.